Good evening, everyone. You're most welcome to today's ProDev Hour. May I request Mr. Matumbwe to give us an opening prayer? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity granted. A good evening to you all. Hope I'm clear.
You're very clear, please.
Thank you. Wherever we are, let's humble ourselves and have a word of prayer. Lord Father, we thank you for the gift of life you have given us. We request for your protection and guidance throughout this engagement. Let it be fruitful and useful to the well-being of ours. Those who are going to present, may you guide them and give them knowledge and wisdom so that we can, all of us, the right information and the information be useful. I have prayed through the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Mr. Tumusimwe. Members, you're most welcome to today's ProDev Hour, the 2nd of April, 2026. Thank you for joining this annual or every week's conversation that we have always had. We are quite aware that it's important that as the gallant sons and daughters and teachers of the nation, we need to continuously do what is called continuous professional development. And I am happy to inform you that we already have a memorandum of understanding with the National Curriculum Development Center. And we have always promised you that at the beginning of every month, we are always privileged to have a presenter coming from National Curriculum Development Center. I want to thank them so much through their manager for having accepted that they always come to meet us. Our discussions always look like we are for few, but we always have access through the YouTube. And I'm happy to inform members that through YouTube, many have always watched these presentations, and that is what gives me the encouragement that even if we look few, we should always continue and have fruitful discussion. For tonight's discussion, we are so privileged to have a presenter coming to help us go through how we are able to do proper scheming. You know that scheme of work is a tool that helps us to do better lesson planning and better deliberations of our lessons. We would like to have the scheme of work that we do to be completely aligned with the competency, excuse me, to be aligned with competency-based curriculum. And therefore, with great pleasure, this evening, allow me to welcome our mathematics specialist, Mr. Kennedy Matumbwe, who is coming to help us through this. Sir, you're most welcome to meet the president. Welcome, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Betty. Thank you, Madam Betty. Good morning, colleagues. Good afternoon, colleagues. Good evening, colleagues. From where you are, from anywhere you are attending from. I know that some people are attending from USA, that is United States of Arua. We may not be in the same time zones. So I greet you all. My name is Kennedy Matumbwe. I'm a curriculum specialist for mathematics at the National Curriculum Development Center. Welcome to our session tonight. Allow me to start sharing my screen here. Madam Betty, confirm that my screen is clear.
Yes, the screen is clearly seen.
Okay.
It's written out being a competency-based scheme of work. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Before I start, I want to thank the leaders of UPSTO for always involving us. I'm happy to be here with you, my colleagues, and I wish you a very good and fruitful session. In this 1 hour, we are going to tackle a very practical and important topic, that is developing a competency-based scheme of work. By the end of this session, you will not only understand what a competence-based scheme of work is, but you will also be ready to start building them, developing them for your own subject, whether you are teaching biology, chemistry, physics, mathematics, general science. I'm informed that most of the members here are teaching science subjects and mathematics, but that doesn't rule out the fact that even someone teaching arts can attend this session. So by the end of this session, you will be able to develop the competence-based scheme of work in your own subject. The session outcome is that participants should understand a scheme of work for a competence-based curriculum. And in this one, I have 3 areas that I'm going to focus on. The first one is that we are going to remind ourselves what a scheme of work means in the context of a competence-based curriculum. It is different from what we used to do in the knowledge-based. It's a little different, as you'll see. Then the other thing we are going to focus on is that we are going to explore the components of a competence-based curriculum, a competence-based scheme of work. And here we are going to go step by step. And at the end, I'll give a short assignment to help you practice. Okay, let's dive in. Let's start by asking ourselves these 3 important questions. The first one, what's a scheme of work? I'm very sure that everyone here knows what a scheme of work is. So I'm just going to say that in simple terms, a scheme of work is a teacher's plan. It shows you, it shows what you'll teach, when you'll teach it, and how you'll know that learners have learned. It's like a roadmap, and we always do termly. We always scheme termly. So it's like a roadmap for a whole term. But in a competence-based curriculum, it's not just a list of topics. You can tell a teacher to scheme, and then you see a list of topics, that these are the topics that I'll do in term 1, for example. That's not enough in the competence-based curriculum. In the competence-based curriculum, it's a plan for building real abilities in your learners. Question number 2, why scheme? Why do we need a scheme of work? Why not just teach from the syllabus? Sometimes teachers see the scheming as a punishment. So we want to see why do we need to skim? We know very well that the syllabus is the what. The syllabus is giving us the what to teach. Now, the scheme of work gives us the how, the when, and then the why. Without a scheme of work, you may finish the syllabus, but the learners may not have developed any practical competence. A scheme of work protects you from rushing, skipping content, or forgetting key learning activities and the key concepts. That takes us to our question. What are the likely consequences of delivering a competence-based curriculum without a scheme of work? I want us to think about if we had no scheme of work. If you have no scheme of work, you may just teach topics out of order. You may find that what is supposed to be taught second, you have taught it first. What is supposed to be taught fifth, you have taught it second. So you might teach topics out of order. That's one. Then you might focus on only theory and forget the practical activities. We know very well that in the competence-based curriculum, every concept you teach, the end point is how it is related to how it is related to real life. How is it connected to? That is the end point. So if you don't skim well, you might focus on the theory and you forget the practical part of the topic or of the concept. You may not allocate enough time for hands-on science experiments if you don't skim. Another point, and most dangerous, colleagues. Your learners may pass the exams, but fail to apply science in real life. And for sure, this won't be competence-based. It will just be memorization of concepts. So a scheme of work is not just a paperwork, it's a for effective teaching. It's a tool for effective teaching. Our next part is, we said we want to look at the components of a competency-based scheme of work. And here I'm looking at one component by one. We look at the importance of that competence, of that component in the scheme of work. Why must we have that component in the scheme of work? So I request that here you follow critically. The first one is the name of the teacher. Name of the teacher, and this is you. Writing your name ensures accountability and ownership. It means that this plan belongs to you and you are responsible for implementing it. Colleagues, you have ever heard about this? Allow me to share a quick example here. One time, and this is real, by the way. One time, I was on a WhatsApp group for teachers, and I saw a teacher asking others to send him forms of work from other schools. Now, colleagues, I don't say this to shame anyone, but honestly, it's not a good sign from a professional teacher. Why getting schemes of work from another person? Borrowing someone's schemes of work without adapting them means you are not taking ownership of your own classroom. So your name is important on the scheme of work. The second component is class. For example, you put senior 1, senior 2, senior 3, senior 5, etc. This defines the learner level. You can't teach atomic structure the same way to senior 1s and senior 5. There are those topics that are spiral in nature, whereby you do part of it in one class, and then you come back to the same topic in another class. The example I have given is in chemistry. I can give another one in mathematics, sets in senior 1 and sets in senior 3. You can't teach sets to senior 1 the same way you are going to teach them in senior 4. The content must match the cognitive and developmental stage of your learners. So class is a very important component on a competence-based scheme of work. Then another one is subject. Subject, I mean biology, chemistry, physics, history, and so on. This helps you align with the subject-specific standards and expectations. Another important component there is term. Term 1, term 2, term 3. Currently, in Uganda, we have 3 terms, term 1, term 2, and term 3 in secondary. Things can change where we are going, but for now, that's what we have. And this component of term provides temporal context for pacing and sequencing across the academic year. Another important component is topic. For example, in biology, you can say cell structure and function. Chemistry, the topic can be acids and bases. Mathematics, you can talk about those topics. The topic frames the broad content area to be covered. I go to another component, which is the competency statement. This competence statement, you are not required to develop it, you as a teacher. It sort of is picked from the syllabus. Every topic has a competency. So this is very important. It defines the real world ability the learner should gain. It's not just knowledge, but also application skills and values. And the way they state it, you see all these components. Another, another component is week. We can put these components in 2 sections. What I'm done with can be put in the first part of the scheme of work. Now, starting from week up to the last one, these ones can go in a table, as we shall see in our sample scheme of work. So we are now on this week. Week 1, week 2, week 3, and so on. This tracks progress over time, enables pacing, and helps with longer time planning. It also helps you see if you are moving too fast or too slow. Another one we have there is periods. How many lessons, how many periods do you give this topic? Sometimes you can have a lesson with 1 period or a lesson with 2 periods, a double lesson. So allocating periods ensures depth of coverage and balances workload. Colleagues, don't try to finish a complex topic in less time. Be realistic. And the good thing is that the periods per topic are also provided in the syllabus. If they have given 10 periods, you don't teach that topic in 5 periods. One time I was moving around schools, and I found that some when we had just rolled out the adapted curriculum of A-level, I found out that some teachers finished the work of 2 terms in first term. That is suicidal. And I'm very sure that there are many things they skipped, because we don't just allocate these periods to topics. We go through a lot to come up with those periods. So let's be realistic when we are scheming. Another component here is learning outcomes. These are measurable, observable abilities after instruction. You are not going to formulate your own learning outcomes. They are there in the syllabus books. The good thing is that A-level is also now competence-based. So from senior 1 to senior 6, the learning outcomes are there. For example, I can pick one of mathematics here, where we are saying that learners should be able to interpret the solutions of quadratic equations in various real-life contexts involving optimization. I have picked that one from the second topic of mathematics, from the second topic of principal mathematics A-level. It's a learning outcome. You don't have to develop it. You don't have to form it yourself. It's already there. Now, after the learning outcome, we go to the learning outcome focus. I remember at one point I took you through how to break down learning outcomes into learning intentions and later success criteria. Now, what do we mean by learning outcome focus? This breaks the learning outcome into teachable bits. It ensures holistic learning, not just content, but all thinking skills and other generic skills, and character development. I'll show you how we get from the learning outcome then to the learning outcome focus. I did it one time, but briefly, I'll still show you in this very session when we are looking at the sample scheme of work. This part of learning outcome focus, you'll find that in other books or in other people call the learning outcome focus, these bits, they call them learning intentions. So when you hear the word learning intentions, you know that here we are talking about the learning outcome focus. Then the systematic people, at one point they call the learning intentions, the learning outcomes, the learning outcome focus, they call them key ideas. It is the same thing. When you break the learning outcome into teachable bits, what you get can be called learning outcome focus, can be called the learning intentions. We can call those teachable bits the key ideas. So that is just changing the names, but we are talking about the same thing. We go to the methodology. This describes active learner-centered strategies. In science, this means experiments, the group work, demonstrations, problem solving, problem-based learning, and so on. Not passive listening, because competences are built through doing and interacting. So we shall see how we treat that column of methodology. I want to go to the teaching and learning resources. This is a list of necessary materials. You can talk about, if you are in biology and you are going to teach around observing tiny things, you can have a microscope or microscopes on your list. You can talk about slides. You can talk about, if we are to go chemistry, you can talk about the acids if you are going to use them. You can talk about the indicators. In other subjects, you can talk about the charts. You can talk about the models, even other local resources like onion bulbs or mangoes, oranges. When you're going to teach, say, fractions, you can go with the bars of soap. All those are teaching and learning resources. Listing them is very important because it prevents gaps in delivery. It supports hands-on learning. The next one there is evidence of achievement. I don't know whether in the knowledge-based, I don't, this component of evidence of achievement was not there. So it's a new thing we are putting in the competence-based systems of work. This highlights proof that learning has been achieved. It links directly to assessment. For example, I can have, say, if I'm in biology, and I can have my evidence of achievement as a labeled drawing from a microscope. I can have a quickly written report as my evidence of achievement. I can have a video of the learners demonstrating an experiment. I can have a checklist with observable steps. So the evidence of achievement highlights proof that the competence has been achieved. You set the evidence of achievement before you teach. How will you get to know that the learners have achieved this competence or the learners have achieved this learning outcome? You have to set standards that the moment I'll see this, the moment I'll see the learner exhibiting this, I'll get to know that this learner has achieved this learning outcome. So, colleagues, that is evidence achievement for you. I want us to go to reference. Provide the reference, provide sources of information relevant to the concepts being learned. The reference can include textbooks, online resources, newspapers, journals, etc. This is where you refer learners for more information about what they have learned. Colleagues, I want to put this note. At one point, still I was visiting schools, and I found that teachers were putting as syllabus book as a reference. Are you referring these learners to go and read the syllabus book? The syllabus book is not a reference, colleague. And also the learner's book is not a reference because they have used this learner's book in class. So you don't have, you can't quote it as a reference. I hope I'm very clear on that, colleagues. From that, we want to go to the remarks. This is, you put the remarks after teaching. You write what worked, what did not work, and what to improve next time. This is important for continuous improvement. But when you look at the teacher's schemes of work, you find statements like successfully taught, or even just taught. That's not a good remark. Indicate what worked, what didn't work, and what to improve next time. And there is this word that you always put, the DO, with a line before and then after. I don't think that many, okay, we all know what it means, that it means do as above. But do we know what it is in full? We only call it do. But that word is not do. It's a Latin word, dito. The meaning is okay, it is do as above, but these are things that shouldn't happen in the scheme work. When you are putting the remarks, make sure that you indicate what worked, what didn't work, and what to improve in the next lesson. I go to the activity of integration. Activity of integration is the heart of competence-based teaching. Activity of integration is a culminating real-life task. It requires learners to apply multiple skills integrated competencies. It integrates the concept in the topic, how to score this activity of integration, those who are teaching O level. Then those who are teaching A level use the assessment rubrics that NEC shared presenting assessment guidelines recently for A-level end of cycle assessment. In case you didn't attend the online presentations by NCDC on assessment guidelines, the recordings are there on the NCDC YouTube channel. So you'll get to know how to score the way we are planning, the way we shall score the end of cycle items by UNEB is the same way you are supposed to score these activities of integration for A level. So if you didn't attend those online sessions by NCDC, you can go and download those and get those recordings. And still the full guidelines for every subject are coming soon. I want to move to the sample scheme of work. This is where I've integrated all the components that I've talked about. Name of the teacher, you put your name. Subject, here I use the principal mathematics. If it's another subject, your subject, you use it, you put it there. Class, this is senior 5. You can put any class. This is a sample, and I picked it from one subject. I go to topic. Topic is numerical concepts. It is the first topic in mathematics, in principal mathematics. Term is term 1. Competency, the topical competency. The learner analyzes contextual use of indices, logarithms, and surds through mathematical computations for precision, developing analytical skills, and making informed decisions to communicate effectively. That is the topical competency, and it's also there in the syllabus. Now, I come to the table. The first column is week. I put 1. Periods. From the syllabus, this topic was given 10 periods, and this is how I have distributed them. The topic has 2 learning outcomes. The first learning outcome is that one, the A. The learner should be able to apply the laws of indices and logarithms to solve real-life exponentiation problems. What you see in brackets is knowledge, skills, understanding, values, then generic skills. So that learning outcome has all those components. Now, learning outcome focus. I said that we get the learning outcome focus from the learning outcome. We break this learning outcome into teachable bits. And here we have the knowledge and understanding. And under knowledge and understanding, we have laws of indices. So you go and teach laws of indices first. Exhaust the laws of indices. Go to the laws of logarithms. That's another learning outcome focus. The skills. In these subjects, we have the technical skills and then the generic skills. The technical skills are the subject skills, like I said at one point. A skill, you look at and say that this must be mathematics. Much as you can use this, you can find this skill in another subject. For example, map reading, you can find it somewhere else, but we all know that that is geography. So the subject skills are the technical skills. And sometimes we call them the process skills. They are different from the generic skills. The generic skills, like you know them, they are the survival skills, and they are well put in the syllabus. So here, the technique, I have solving exponentiation problems. That's a technical skill. Interpretation, and in brackets, I put explaining solutions using mathematical notation and language in the context of real life problems. That one is also technical. The generic skill that I will target in this learning outcome is cooperation and self-directed learning. You can't target more than 2 generic skills in a single learning outcome. And this doesn't mean that the other generic skills won't appear. It doesn't mean we know that communication is also a generic skill. So it doesn't mean that in this learning outcome, you are going to completely avoid communication as a skill. It's only that we are going to target the cooperation and self-directed learning. How are you going to target it? You'll find the details in the lesson plan that another specialist will take you through at one point, God willing. Values, still we have many and they are listed in the syllabus. In this learning outcome, the target is on justice and fairness in dealing with others. The methods I'm planning to use here, we said that a scheme of work is a plan. So the methods here, brainstorming, discussion, think, pair, share, then demonstration. Teaching aid, teaching and learning resources, internet, rulers, manila, paper, protractor, calculator. Evidence of achievement. The learner is able to convert index notation to logarithmic notation and vice versa. The others, you can read them. The second one is the learner is able to solve index and logarithmic equations. The learner is able to use laws of indices and logarithms correctly in solving equations involving exponential growth and decay. The learner is able to interact effectively with others. Now, these are indicators of the cooperation as a generic skill. Those two. The learner is able to interact effectively with others. Another one, work effectively. Work effectively in the given team, in teams. Then, how will I know that I have achieved the value the other side? The learner will exhibit justice and fairness in dealing with others. That is the column of evidence of achievement. In when you try to read other curricula from other countries, you will find that evidence of achievement can also be called, the evidence of achievement can also be called success criteria. How will you know that the learner has achieved this learning outcome? When we go back to pick the second learning outcome, I said that these are two. Here, mathematics has 6 periods a week. So when we say week 1 and we pick the first 5, we are left with 1 period, which we carry to the second learning outcome. That's why in the column of week, for the second learning outcome, you are seeing 1 to 2, meaning that we have part of week 1 and then part of week 2, and we are picking 4 periods from that. You see part B there under learning outcome, meaning that you are bringing the second learning outcome for this topic. You follow the same row like we have discussed the first learning outcome. Now, you have to plan for the activity of integration. You have to set of time to give this activity of integration. Whether in O level or A level, you give the activity of integration. We communicated that the activities of integration at A level won't be considered for the end of cycle assessment. But that doesn't mean that you don't give the activities of integration, because they are the ones that will prepare this learner for the end of cycle assessment items. The activity of integration integrates concepts at the topic level. When we go to the other items end of cycle, we set items at the construct level, and you know that a construct has related topics. So you have to first be comfortable with handling concepts at the topic level before you go to handle concepts at the construct level. So teachers don't do a disservice to these learners by not giving activities of integration because you don't want to mark the activities of integration. They are the ones to prepare the learner for the end of cycle assessment, which will come at the construct level. So this is the sample. This is the sample scheme of work for one topic. I have done one learning outcome. The second learning outcome, you can continue in the same way we have seen the first learning outcome. The column of references, you put them there. Remarks will come after teaching this part. And like I said, that please don't put successfully taught. You have to show what went well, what didn't go well, and how to improve. I have a simple assignment here that you'll do. I'll call it homework. In your subject, choose the topic from the syllabus and use the components identified above to develop a competence-based scheme of work for 2 weeks. That's an assignment. I'm waiting for people to photograph it. Oh, I'll stop the sharing here. Sorry about that. How can the assignment is there. And then if you have photographed it and you have got it, I want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you, colleagues, for listening to me. I can now take on, if I'm allowed by the organizers, I can take on 1-2 questions before we end it. I have tried to keep the time. I know it's a 1 hour thing, only that we started 10-15 minutes late. So I have finished at exactly 9. Now that you delayed me to start, I request that you give me those extra minutes and I take on 1-2 questions. Thank you. Back
Thank
to
you very
moderator.
much. Thank you very much, Mr. Kennedy, for helping us through scheme of work. For sure, this is an area where we teachers run away. We enjoy going to only teach. We don't enjoy to scheme. And worst of all, we don't even want to lesson plan. Reason being, we don't understand the nitty-gritty of doing this scheme of work. But this evening, you have helped to really make it lighter and easier to access. I'm very sure the members who are in here have enjoyed it. Personally, I have learned today about reflections. If I recall, you said reflection is to help us look at what you have done well and probably what you have not done well. I don't know if I've picked it so clearly. Meaning to reflect means you look at your areas of of strength and then areas of weakness and possibly areas of improvement. Did I pick you right, sir?
Yes, you're on the right track.
Oh, thank you very much. Members, it is now the right time where we are able to raise our hands, and please feel free to ask as many questions as possible. I want members to relax that time has already gone, because it is important that we get back home when we at least have scooped something from this presentation. You are now free to raise up your hand and ask for questions where you can. I see Mr. Twine Elliott Biamokama is the National Secretary for people for special group. I welcome you to ask your question. Mr. Twine, unmute yourself and ask us the question.
Thank you, the host. May I, first of all, I thank this. I did not start with it. I don't know this person by name, but I've really learned. But my question is about reference. By reference, I thought it was a previously published written work used or indicated as a source of resource, which any other person would go maybe and find the same content. I don't see the reason why we should not use it as a reference. Then again, on the scheme of work, I saw teaching and learning resources did not include, because this scheme of work he was showing, it was of senior 5. So I would have thought that the author of senior 5 by name would have been included there as a resource. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't know, Mr. Matumbwe, do we allow many questions and then you answer at once? Would that be fine?
It's very okay. It's very okay.
I
don't know how you operate, but it's fine.
Mr. Elliott, thank you for your question. May I now welcome Madame Doreen. Doreen Kisakie, you're welcome.
Hello, good evening, teachers. Thank you very much, Mr. Kennedy, for a very good, insightful presentation, developing a competency-based scheme of work. Now, really, mine is actually on the references. You said that we are not allowed to add kind of a syllabus book, which is right in the references. But then, since we are dealing, I thought that since we are dealing with our learner-centered curriculum or competence-based curriculum, it would be best if we have this element attached there so that even our learners can get to know that as I am handling this topic, their next theme or topic would be this, and therefore the learning outcomes will be this. I thought that we should be open about informing our learners about what is in the syllabus, them having it, them knowing that this is the next step after covering this and that. Yes, thank you very much.
Welcome, Doreen. Thank you very much for your question. Dr. Mark, you're welcome, please.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kennedy, for the presentation. My question is in regard to the template for the scheme of work. I can see most of the examples you used were for mathematics. Can this template work for other subjects? And if not, will there be an opportunity to have a presentation for other subjects? Like, of course, like the arts, the history, the CRE, and all other arts-related subjects. That is one. Then two, this presentation is helpful. How can we get the slides? You see, many of us are still learning how the competence-based curriculum will be delivered. Thank you so much, Kennedy, for your presentation. I have really personally learned a lot, and the presentation is helpful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Mark. Maybe I answer the last one. Type oops to .org, and then you'll you'll find so many things at our website as Uganda Professional Science Teachers Union. You'll find also presentations that have been made, even those others that were made in other months, even for last year.
Yeah.
You'll find all of them
Okay.
there, and you see which one you would like to watch again. Then also after this presentation, we usually post this the recordings to the different forum, even to the one you belong.
Okay.
I don't know if someone can post it there. Immediately we do. By tomorrow morning, we shall have shared to all the forum for people who missed to watch. So we always keep everybody.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
I see Mr. Mugabe Moses. Mr. Mugabe Moses, welcome.
Thank you, Madam. Good evening, everyone.
Good
As
evening. Yeah.
mentioned, my name is Mugabe Moses. I'm glad to have attended this session once again. My view or observation here is on the scheme. One, looking at the learning outcome given as an example there in the scheme, and looking at the period there, in my own view, I feel the 5 periods given are not enough for the learning outcome. Maybe probably if it was increased beyond 5 periods. And then 2, as I conclude, I want to add my voice to the presenter that just like Madam said, very many of us run away from that area. But given the new curriculum that we are handling, especially at A level, where we shall all agree that the developers of this curriculum, when they were designing the syllabus, they did not go down to help the colleagues or to help the teachers and break it just like the way they did it at O level. The learning outcomes appear to be very abstract, but with a lot of knowledge, with a lot of cursivers and a lot of information. You look for areas and actual information to give to the learners, and it is hidden. Now, in a situation where you have not gone far to do the scheming, it is going to be very challenging. Now, I believe very many of us had not given interest or taken interest in the area that has been given on the scheme there to do with the learning outcome focus area. It is something I thought I should also add my voice, that in all we do, we can even ignore, if possible, any other part. But the area to do with the learning focus area is something that is very key. It's something that will help us to understand exactly what the learning outcome means. So with that said, I want to say thank you to the presenter and the organizers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Moses. Members, allow me to invite Kennedy to respond to some of this. Welcome, Kennedy.
Thank you, moderator. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for these nice questions. The first one is what I want to begin with, the one of references. A reference is where you refer learners for more information about what they have learned. That is the definition of a reference in teaching and learning. This is the source of information, source of relevant information you refer learners to for more information about what they have learned. So the question is, will you send the learners to the syllabus for more information about what they have learned? Do I leave it at that, or I answer that no, you won't send them there. You won't send them to the syllabus. So the syllabus is not a reference for these learners. Then the learner's book. The learner's book, you wouldn't also add it under references. Reason, this is what they have used in class. Are you going to send them to the same book for more information? No. These are the extra sources of information relevant to the concept being learned. So, colleagues, we should, it's not proper to put the syllabus as a reference for the learners in this scheme of work. I know many of you are doing it, but it's not correct. And you also don't put what they have used in class as a reference. The second question is on, someone said, can this template work for all subjects? This template is for all subjects. And here I put in mathematics, but it is for all subjects. And it is the template that NCDC used when we are training teachers on the adapted A-level curriculum. So it is the template and it is working for all subjects. Okay. And then another one, moderator, you answered it about the slides. They have access to these slides because everything is being recorded here, and they will, you have directed them to where they will pick that information from. And I will also send you all of these slides that I've used to do this presentation. Then another one, that was Dr. Marker. Now another one is saying, talking about the number of periods for a topic. Now we pick this number of topics, a number of periods for the topics from the syllabus. Like I said, this topic of numerical concepts was given 10, and giving it 10, it was, we don't just say that this one deserves 10 or 5 or what. It's a panel that sits, and we work with the teachers. Sometimes we even do, we go to schools and try to teach these things in this time and see whether the time is enough for this topic. So this topic was given 10 periods. I put 5, I gave 5 to the first learning outcome. I gave 4 to the second one, and then 1 for the activity of integration. But if you find that you have not been able to complete in the 5 periods or in the 10 periods, we have the other column of remarks. That's where you indicate that I was not able to complete this part in the 5 periods because of this, because learners found it difficult in understanding this. That is the column of remarks that I talked about. Unfortunately, some of us, we use that column to put successfully taught, not taught, and so on. But that column is supposed to show what went on well, what didn't go well, and what to improve in the next lesson, including what made you not able to complete this work in the stipulated time. Okay, another one talked about the learning outcome focus, that you said that you wish we put all the energy on teaching you how to fill this column of learning outcome focus. Yes, when we are training teachers on the advanced secondary curriculum, this adapted one, we took you through breaking down the learning outcomes into learning outcome focus. The only challenge is that we didn't train every teacher. Government was not able to give us the funds to train every teacher, but we used the cascading model where you train 5 teachers from every school. After training them, they go and train the others. We spent a lot of time during those trainings, training teachers, those who came, on how to break down the learning outcomes to get the learning outcome focus. But I think the ones we trained, some of them didn't do a good job to train the friends they left at their working stations. So that's how I can answer that. But we did our part, we trained, and we're using that cascading model of training teachers. Moderator, I think those are the questions that I noted here. I come back to you.
Thank you very much, Kennedy. I also now see like there are no hands up, meaning that we do not have any more questions. I'm seeing messages inside here majorly to say thank you. Members, since there are no more hands up, I think today's ProDev Hour would end here. I thank you. Oh, there is Mr. Balel Bosco. Bosco, you would be the last person today asking your question, and the kind request would be for you to give us a concluding prayer after your question has been asked. Thank you very much. Welcome.
Thanks so much, moderator and the facilitator. My question goes to the sample. I've seen he has banked 5 periods. Now on the timetable, we're given maybe a double, two doubles in a week. How will you now apportion this based on the timetable?
Thank you, Bosco.
So I answer that.
It's okay. First answer. I see somebody's. This is Roger's hand is up. Maybe Kennedy, allow him first to say what he wants to say. Maybe it's a question you could now handle both. Rogers, you're welcome. Yes, Rogers, you are on.
Yes. Are you hearing me?
Yes, you're clear.
Yeah, I just want always to use the opportunity to, as we close, to remind the members, because there could be those who logged on and they don't know. This month, deadline for submitting projects for the Science Innovation Competition is this month, as the term ends, so that in the holiday, the union will be able to vet and select projects for the competition. We have a very good Science Innovation Competition, and so would encourage members. Please, you go to the website of the union. When you just visit the website, you will see somewhere where there is call for projects. You just tap there and then you can download the letter. There is an official letter with all the details, and then you can submit by clicking on the button, and you submit your projects so that you can be invited for the regionals and final competition. Thank you very much. I just wanted to share that.
Thank you very much, Rogers, for that information. Mr. Kennedy, you're welcome.
Okay. My colleague here asked about the 5 periods I put, yet on their timetable they have 2 doubles a week. Now that's an internal arrangement at your school, but for us here we are saying that mathematics, principal mathematics, has 6 periods every week, and that is written when you look at the page 8 of the syllabus, time allocation. Learners shall be engaged. In fact, there are 8 periods, each of 40 minutes per week for senior 5 to senior 6. So what you have at school is just an internal arrangement, but the what we stated as NCDC, we said 80 periods every week, and that column of now number of periods, as long as you have a total of 10 that topic, we have no problem. Okay. Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you again for listening to me. We have covered the meaning of the scheme of work in the competence-based curriculum. We have looked at the consequences of not using a scheme of work. We have looked at the 8 components, the 16 components of a competence-based scheme of work. My reminder to you is that a good scheme of work is not a punishment from the head teacher. It is your professional tool for building real competences in your learners. You have the knowledge now, go and develop good schemes of work. Thank you so much, colleagues. I wish you a wonderful night. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Kennedy, for sacrificing this time and helping us so much. I am very sure next time you're coming back dangerously again to help us in other fields. Members, I want to thank you too for giving your time to listen to this. If this benefits us, then that would be a very good program. We shall, as Uganda Professional Science Teachers Union, continue every Thursday to bring to you topics we feel is good for us in our professional practicing. So I'll kindly request that every Thursday we come on and we listen to this wonderful presentation. I now invite Mr. Obalel to give us a concluding prayer. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much, moderator. Let us pray, members. God, we thank you for this time we have been in this session, oh God. God, we thank you for the facilitator and the moderator for guiding us in this 1 hour. God, I pray what we have discussed and shared. When we go back to our schools, we implement it. For the God, the Bible is very clear that those who go and do will be blessed, and those who just go and listen and fail to do not be blessed. God, I pray we become implementers at our schools for the good of this country. As we leave this place, God, take us back safely. In Jesus' name we are prayed.
Amen. Thank you very, very much, everybody. Good night. Bye.
God be with you too.